In this video I'm going to disassemble and reassemble the lower central part of the dashboard to gain access to the heating, ventilation, control gear and sensors in a Skoda Fabia MK1 99 to 2007. On the Fabia you can take out quite a bit of the lower parts of the dashboard without the need to take out the whole dash. There are three main parts: the glove box, which just drops down, the driver's side lower dash, which is a little bit more tricky, along with the steering column shroud. You can take out the central console unit, which also gives more room if you want to take out the heat exchanger, and the central heating, ventilation, AC radio housing, which we're going to concentrate on here. Disconnect the battery. First you need to drop down the glove box. I'll leave a link at the end of the video and in the description of my other videos on how to remove the glove box and the right lower dash if you haven't done these before, as well as the central console if you need that. Take your time and put the panels somewhere safe with their respective T20 fixing screws. Taking the central unit out gives you access to the heater control with the heater vent and cabin temperature sensors and the infamous ventilation flapper motor, which often gives problems. Take the radio CD unit out using some Skoda radio removal tools that you can get cheap off the internet. I keep mine in my little cubby hole. These are the tools, and I always use the pull out drawer to put a little bit of paper in just to protect the front surface when I drop the radio down to disconnect it. Carefully insert the tools into the two little slots either side of the radio. Pushing them fully in lifts up a cam that locks the radio in place. Take a hold of both tools and gently slide the radio out. Once it's out partially, you can take a hold of it and lower it down to get access to the clips on the back. If you push the clips in towards the radio a little bit as you depress the catch, these come off a bit easier. Tease off the antenna aerial. Take out the little drawer by putting your hand right at the back and pulling forward. If you've got a cubbyhole instead of a drawer, do exactly the same thing. You just have to pull a little bit harder, as these can be quite tight. It's located with some sliders that fit into slots on the centre panel, as well as a rear locating peg. Take off the heater ventilation control panel cover. If you hold it at the top, you can gently prise it from the bottom. Either take it off as one piece, or you can take it off on either side gently. It just clips off. With I think about 3 clips on either side around the switches. Once the cover's off, go underneath the whole unit, and there are 2 recessed T20 screws at the front and 2 T20s at the rear. Take all those out. Then you want to take the 2 side trims out from the bottom. Just prise them up to release them. Then you want to take this dummy switch out first. You could take the end one out, but it's got a little tab on the bottom which could break off. Once the first switch is out, you can put your finger in and push the others from behind. When it comes to the real switch, you can do the same there, push it from behind. To take the switch off, you want to depress the little catch, and I find if you pull it towards the switch as you're doing it, it comes off easier. You can take this blanking cover out, which hides the space for the cup holder. if you've got one fitted. Then it's just a question of taking the remaining 6 T20 screws out, 2 at the front here, 2 down the side on the passenger side, 1 at the top by the steering wheel, and the last remaining T20 screw right at the back in the recess, which I leave till last. You need to release the control panel at the front, which is held on by 4 clips on each corner. You just got to push these together from each side, and the panel will release inwards. So it's just a bit loose, as you can see. I put a cloth down to protect the console. Just ease the whole panel off. And I found that you just had to move the gear stick back a little bit for extra clearance. And there we have it, lower centre dash removed. To remove the heater ventilation control unit, first take off the mechanical vent director connected by a purple clip that you just press to unhook it. Pull that out. Then the top connector, they're just 2 little pegs you squeeze together and it'll come out. And finally the 2 big connectors at the bottom. Press the catch at the bottom very hard, as these are quite stiff, and it'll come out. You can see the catch here, which you need to press firmly to remove it. Putting them back on, you just push them in and clip them into place. If we take a look into the dashboard cavity, you can see the outflow or output temperature sensor, which is a similar catch to the brake light switch, which is removed by pulling the 2 pins together. To remove the sensor, you have to turn it to one side to release it, and then it will just drop down. Here's the sensor removed from the car. You can see here it's sealed by a large rubber gasket O-ring. But I will say these are easier to get in and out if you remove the centre console first. You can still do it without that, but it's just a little bit fiddly. Be careful not to drop it down into the console. If I temporarily refit the facia cover on the control unit, there's a grill at the bottom here. And if we take it off, we can see it coincides with the interior cabin temperature sensor. The grills on these covers often get clogged up with dust, causing problems, so you want to be cleaning that out with a little brush, and likewise the sensor. If we look at the back of the unit, we can see a little fan which is used to draw interior air over the sensor. So you want to make sure that's working, and if you want to see the location of the flapper motor that's known to cause problems on this car, you can see it if you take this vent extension off. Just fasten with a T20 screw, and then you just got to yank it off. The 2 clips on the heater housing box. And there's the flapper motor unit. with the toothed cam that operates the direction flap between hot and cold. I'm hoping to cover this flapper motor in a future up and coming video, giving some insight into the issues and fixes for this. But that's for another time. Anyway, to put the vent extension back, you just push it in. There's 2 clips on the end of the funnel. And of course, replace the T20 screw. Carefully reinsert the control panel in the centre housing fascia, making sure the radio connections are above the rear bar on the fascia. Make sure the top switches are accessible, as well as the aerial antenna, which I actually missed doing on this occasion and had to fish it out later, having been trapped behind the panel. When you put the fascia back, and gently waggle the fascia into place, whilst at the same time making sure the control panel comes forward. And when the fascia is in place, the control panel clips at one side. You need to hook them onto the fascia at the front. Then quickly put a screw in to hold it in place, and return to the control panel with a small flat bladed screwdriver, which you need to insert into the other side of the clips, in the centre of the clip, on one of the clips, and you prise it out and it will bring both clips out and clip into place on the fascia. Fish out the 2 switches with your finger or a piece of wire, reconnect them. The connections are individual to the switches, so you can't get it wrong. And they just push clip back into place. Then refit all the screws. Push in the switches fully and replace the blanking switches. Refit the blanking plate, it'll only go one way around. Replace the 2 side trims, which are individual to each side. And then gently ease the control panel fascia cover on, clipping it into place, like so. Lift up the cables and reinsert the drawer. Reinsert the connectors on the back of the radio and the antenna, make sure that's on firmly. Carefully slide the radio back in, making sure the cables aren't trapped at the back. And the job's done. And don't forget to reattach the battery and put the security code in. And thank you for watching. A big thank you to everybody that's subscribed. And for those that haven't, consider subscribing. I really appreciate that. So I hope this video helped you out, guys. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you on the next video.